For years, Nosy Bystander built a reputation as someone who watched internet drama from the sidelines, breaking down controversies, exposing creators, and asking the questions everyone else was thinking. But what happens when the person telling everyone else's story becomes the story? It started with accusations that she crossed a line. Critics claimed she didn't just report on someone experiencing a mental health crisis, but she exploited that crisis for views, escalating an already volatile situation instead of handling it responsibly. What followed wasn't just another round of internet drama. It sparked a much larger conversation about the ethics of commentary channels, the responsibility creators have when covering vulnerable people, and where the line between reporting and exploitation actually exists. So who is Nosy Bystander? How did she build one of YouTube's most recognizable commentary channels? And what really happened in the controversy that left so many viewers questioning the very creator they once trusted?
It doesn't shock me at all that Nosy Bystander plays a part in an influencer taking their own life. That doesn't shock me at all. Because something I have not spoken about publicly is that I've had her blocked for about 2.5 years. Years ago, I made the mistake of signing to an independent label and the contract was janky. When I tell y'all I was depressed, I could not legally talk about this publicly for years. They sat on my music. They tried blackmailing me. They tried leaking my music. I went through so much. At the time, she had presented me with the fake opportunity of having my own TV show on Roku, right? And I was so desperate for an outlet. I was so desperate. I don't know what I was thinking, but I made the mistake of confiding in her. I couldn't even remember what it was I said. But when I tell y'all, this lady went and repeated everything I said to the label, word for word. But I don't know why. What she got out of doing it. It was so hurtful. And I was so confused, not in the sense of, okay, well, we friends and she owes me anything. I just didn't understand. What did she get out of that?
This is the rise and controversy of Nosy Bystander. Before becoming the center of one of TikTok's biggest controversies, Nosy Bystander made a name by covering everyone else's. TikTok drama, creator feuds, live stream meltdowns, viral controversies. If people were talking about it, chances are Nosy was too. Her videos mixed commentary, live stream clips, interviews, and reactions from the people involved. For many viewers, scrolling through her page became an easy way to catch up on whatever drama had taken over TikTok that week. One of the biggest stories she covered involved a creator named Rzzy. Rzzy's videos had already been circulating across TikTok long before Nosy became involved. Many viewers believed her behavior appeared increasingly erratic. Videos showed emotional live streams, frequent conflicts with strangers, and moments where she seemed visibly distressed. As clips spread across the platform, thousands of people began speculating about her mental health. Some creators expressed concern and encouraged people to stop engaging. The criticism surrounding Nosy Bystander didn't begin after Rzzy's death. For many people, it started months earlier with one particular interview. Nosy hosted Rzzy alongside one of her friends following their trip to Miami. On the surface, the conversation was fairly casual. They talked about the trip, personal experiences, and other day-to-day topics.
The facility had got a hold of you, girl.
No, that was definitely you.
Well, when the call not paid, discrepancies happen, boo. Go ahead.
Was that you?
As clips from the stream spread across TikTok, the conversation quickly shifted away from the Miami trip itself. Instead, people began debating Rzzy's mental state and whether the attention surrounding her was making things worse. Rzzy had built a following of her own, but her content increasingly raised concerns among viewers. Many described her behavior as unpredictable and deeply troubling. As more clips circulated, creators across TikTok began weighing in. Some genuinely tried to make sense of what was happening. Then the story took a devastating turn. News broke that Rzzy had died. Within hours, tribute posts, screenshots, and news reports started spreading across TikTok and other social media. Then everything changed. As news of her death spread across TikTok, the focus quickly shifted away from Rzzy herself and toward the creators who had covered her in the months leading up to it. One name came up more than most: Nosy Bystander. Critics argued that her interviews, live streams, and ongoing updates had helped keep attention on someone they believed was clearly struggling. They questioned whether those conversations crossed the line from reporting on a viral story to turning a vulnerable person's mental health crisis into online content. As the debate intensified, Nosy went from covering one of TikTok's biggest controversies to becoming one of its central figures, with every past interview and live stream suddenly facing renewed scrutiny. The controversy grew through a series of moments that drew increasing scrutiny. One of the biggest came when Nosy interviewed Rzzy while Rzzy was reportedly staying in a psychiatric facility. The interview immediately raised questions about whether Rzzy could meaningfully consent to appearing on a public live stream. For many viewers, it marked the point where the coverage crossed an ethical line.
Was that you?
Well,
No, that was HB. It said like doo-doo. Like,
girl, I was trying to put you on.
Listen, Rzzy is on paid minutes, so I want to be able
No,
to
she
talk.
ain't even. She ain't even paid.
On free minutes before 6 p.m. And I want to be able to talk to Rzzy without people cussing her out or her cussing them out.
The interviews spread rapidly across social media, and opinions couldn't have been more divided. Supporters defended Nosy's decision, arguing that she simply allowed Rzzy to speak in her own words. In their view, denying someone the chance to share their perspective could be just as harmful. Critics saw something very different. To them, the interview wasn't informative. It was exploitative. They believed a vulnerable person had been placed in front of a large audience during one of the most difficult periods of her life, turning an intensely personal struggle into public entertainment. The conversation didn't stop there. As more clips from Nosy's live streams resurfaced, the criticism only intensified. Across multiple broadcasts, viewers pointed to moments they believed showed a lack of empathy towards the seriousness of Rzzy's death. Those clips were reposted, stitched, and analyzed across TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms, with many arguing they reflected a pattern rather than a single lapse in judgment. Several creators also joined the conversation. Aunt Karen criticized the wider culture surrounding creators who reportedly discussed Rzzy online. She pushed the idea that Nosy was not just a bystander, echoing concerns shared by many viewers who felt the internet had become far too comfortable turning someone's personal crisis into entertainment.
No story is important enough where you gotta talk to the person that is actively in the mental health facility seeking treatment, where they were forced to delete TikTok just so you can get some sort of answers.
Only people that disrupt messy talk and messy talk's rhythm, right? Recappers, the people being messy, the streamers, the recruiters, people who bring in a newer audience. The only people who fuck up the rhythm is people who pocket watch. And the moment that pocket watchers get clocked sooner, the better off messy talk as a collective will be.
Another creator argued that several moments from Nosy's live streams showed a lack of sensitivity towards Rzzy's situation, while also pointing to Nosy's declining follower count. The video was widely shared, adding even more momentum to the debate over where commentary should draw the line when discussing vulnerable individuals.
You know what bothers me about Nosy Bystander so much is that you can tell she grew up like I did, in a way, a little awkward black girl. But one thing that I didn't try to do is like try to get accepted in the stereotypical part of my culture, if that makes sense. Like, I'm very comfortable who I am as a black woman now. I have black friends, black women, I can get along with them, educated, standard, right? But she tries to say she has standards while getting involved in our culture, parts of our culture that is dangerous, right? That bullying, messy talk type stuff. I'm only talking to my people right now, so we can keep scrolling. And she tries to hide it by talking prim and proper, and I don't trust that woman. I never did when I first saw her. I watched that woman lose 10,000 followers in the last 48 hours. It is so refreshing. She's always had some weird takes on certain things, and I'm like, did anybody hear that? And she just kept getting followers. It took somebody's life for y'all to realize that this woman has been problematic. I don't like that, but here we are.
Other creators voiced similar concerns. Some focused less on Nosy herself and more on the larger group of creators whose names Rzzy had mentioned during her live streams. They questioned how online conflicts can spiral when multiple commentary channels focus on the same individual, often exposing that person to millions of viewers within days. As more reaction videos emerged, the discussion evolved into a debate about accountability. When someone's struggles are already unfolding in public, what responsibility do commentary creators have? Does covering the story make them part of it? Or does the responsibility ultimately lie with the audience and the platforms that continue amplifying those conversations? There were no simple answers, and opinions remained deeply divided. One of the strongest voices was Aunt Karen, who openly criticized several creators following Rzzy's death. In multiple videos, she named Nosy Bystander, Heartbreaker, and others, arguing that their coverage and interactions with Rzzy reflected a broader culture of online harassment and exploitation. Karen said she believed those creators should be held accountable for the role they allegedly played in the events leading up to Rzzy's death. Her videos quickly gained traction, fueling an already heated debate across TikTok.
She killed herself. She unalived herself. And I'm going to be calling names, as I believe there are a lot of people to blame. First off, Nosy Bystander. These are my opinions. You can fake a lawsuit and fake you're going to get a lawyer. Don't really care. Braid King, Heartbreaker, Candy. These are all messy TikTokers who interacted with her in such a way that I believe pushed her to unaliving herself. She hung herself on live. Now, I waited until everything was confirmed. This is a member from her church who was very close to her, treated her like a daughter, and there's going to be a lot of people distancing themselves. You're going to see a lot of people say, oh, no, it wasn't that serious, but it was. A lot of people used her for her money, and multiple times purposely knew she was unwell, and even when she was getting treatment, had her on the phone in a live and pushed her to unalive herself. This is messy TikTok. This is what I was trying to tell y'all about.
However, Karen wasn't the only one pointing the finger at Nosy. Many other creators shared similar opinions. The backlash soon spread far beyond TikTok. Discussions appeared across Reddit, where users revisited Rzzy's final live streams in an attempt to better understand her state of mind during her last public appearance. Throughout the stream, Rzzy spoke about the overwhelming pressure she felt from the ongoing online conflict and mentioned several creators she believed had contributed to that pressure. After her death, clips from the live stream spread rapidly across social media, becoming central to wider conversations about cyberbullying, creator responsibility, and the impact prolonged public scrutiny can have on someone's well-being. One clip that many viewers returned to showed Rzzy talking about the messages she said she had been receiving online. According to Rzzy, some so-called creators repeatedly encouraged her to end her own life, and she described feeling overwhelmed by the constant hostility directed toward her. For many viewers, it became a stark reminder of how relentless online harassment can affect someone's mental well-being.
Y'all tell me to kill myself literally every other day. And if asked if I'm in a psych ward, I already told y'all.
Another livestream drew intense attention because it reportedly took place about an hour before Rzzy's death. In the aftermath, viewers closely examined the broadcast, arguing that several comments made during it came across as dismissive and lacking compassion. Critics pointed to moments where participants appeared to laugh while discussing Rzzy and made remarks suggesting people were tired of the ongoing situation. Those clips quickly spread online, with many describing the tone as deeply insensitive given what would happen later that day.
Everybody closed the door on you. Your mother, the therapist. Gray had the door closed with 8 locks on that motherfucker.
He had 27.
What the fuck, bitch? We are tired of you, like you're tired of you. If you're tired of you, what the fuck make you think we ain't?
He ODs constantly, back and forth to jail. Rzzy always having to help him get out.
And what's the Instagram name?
1 second, babe, I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got time for today. I got time today.
Same. Me too.
Bitch, why you gonna fuck people with I got time on that big hoe. And HB, clock in.
You in the comments, we over here talking about good shit. You down there talking about communion and shit. Pitiful ass bitch.
Why everybody silent? Shit, this is good to us. The fuck y'all quiet for?
Following Rzzy's death, the conversation intensified once again. News outlets, including TMZ, reported that law enforcement had opened an investigation into the circumstances surrounding her death.
And now, let's see if y'all still feel the way you do when you were wishing her death. Because the cops are now investigating. TMZ just reported that the cops are looking into this cyberbullying. Now, this is because numerous people have reported the videos, what people did the moments before, the hours before her death, what led up to it, and the information that has been spread. So, Heartbreaker, Braid King, Candy, all of that stuff y'all was talking and y'all was wishing, I really hope you're ready to stand 10 toes down because you really need to be in jail. I really want to see Heartbreaker, especially Heartbreaker. I really want to see her in jail. Again, because she's been there before. She needs to go back. That's it. Let me know what you guys think about this. Thank goodness that TMZ is reporting this and this is getting wider media attention.
It's important to note that an investigation does not establish responsibility or wrongdoing by any individual creator. It did, however, renew public interest in the months leading up to Rzzy's death and prompted many people to re-examine the online interactions that surrounded her. There were no simple answers, and opinions remained sharply divided. Nosy, however, rejected many of the accusations. Throughout the controversy, she defended her actions in live streams and public statements, maintaining that she was documenting events that were already happening in public. She pushed back against claims that she had exploited Rzzy and argued that much of the criticism misrepresented both her intentions and the context of her content.
We need to talk about the interview I did with a young lady who unfortunately took her life over this past weekend. Now, the interview that I had did with Rzzy, it was in regards to her and her friend and a trip to Miami. Now, they had a falling out on that trip to Miami, and it was a trending story, and that's why we discussed it. Now, in that interview, we talked about a lot of the trip's caveats, including money, hotel stays, etc. Now, the interview was floating around, and somehow there was a narrative being shaped that she was being cyberbullied by me. I want to make it very clear that I've only interviewed her one time about that story because that story was trending. And I think it's so dangerous. It is absolutely dangerous to spread narratives like that in regard to somebody's untimely passing. From October until now, I don't know what happened between Rzzy and her friendships that made her take her own life. I literally don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know. And I understand that a lot of people come to my page because they want answers to stories. And because I'm only one person, I just cannot keep up with every single storyline that occurs on the internet. And I'm very sorry to her and her family and to her friends who love her and miss her dearly. I'm very sorry. I truly, truly, truly wish I had answers for you guys about what happened. I don't, and I can't. And if that is a reason as to be upset and angry in the landscape that we're in now, I understand that. I just don't have those answers. And now, because of the way the story is being shaped, I need to take a break from the internet. I'm going to be back with the news at some point in time. I just wish I knew when. And again, I want to send my deepest condolences to Rzzy and to her family and to her closest friends who loved her dearly. Because although I didn't know her very well, she seemed like a lovely girl, a sweet girl, and I know she's going to be missed.
Many viewers felt the video failed to address the concerns that had been raised. Critics argued that she was dismissing or minimizing those concerns rather than directly engaging with them. People criticized her for stepping away from social media during the backlash, seeing as it avoided accountability. Many commenters urged her to publicly address the criticism and explain the decisions at the center of the controversy. In her response, she rejected claims that she had intentionally harmed Rzzy or sought to exploit her circumstances. She maintained that her coverage reflected events that were already public and pushed back against accusations that her content had been mischaracterized. Her response did little to settle the debate. People no longer believed she deserved a platform, claiming that commentary creators should be held to a higher ethical standard when discussing people in vulnerable situations. As those videos gained traction, calls for accountability grew louder, with critics urging Nosy to directly address the decisions that had sparked the controversy.
So Nosy want to run scare off the internet. This is why you just can't be saying just any and everything to people. You get what I'm saying? Because you just never know. You could be somebody's 13th reason why. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody or anything like that, but she was definitely a part of the berating and the bullying of that girl who unfortunately unalived herself. All while knowing this young lady, if I'm not mistaken, that she was in a mental facility. Like, how effed up of a person you have to be to, you know, be aware of that, but still poke and poke and poke. Like, nah, I'm not feeling that.
Whether that represented a lasting shift in public opinion or a temporary backlash remained unclear. What was undeniable, however, was that the focus had changed. For years, Nosy Bystander had built her platform by analyzing the actions of other creators. Now her own content, decisions, and judgment had become part of the story. And perhaps the biggest question left behind wasn't just about one creator. It was about an entire online ecosystem that rewards constant commentary, immediate reactions, and viral engagement, even when the people at the center of those stories may be experiencing real crisis behind the scenes. The internet has a short memory, but some controversies leave a lasting mark. For Nosy Bystander, the Rzzy controversy became more than just another headline. It changed the way many people viewed her content and raised difficult questions about the ethics of commentary channels, especially when the person at the center of the story may be experiencing a mental health crisis. Even today, the conversation hasn't completely faded. Scroll through the comments on Nosy's recent posts, and you'll still find people bringing up Rzzy's name. Many continue to ask for accountability, while others believe she should openly reflect on the decisions that made so many viewers uncomfortable. At the same time, some supporters argue that she's been unfairly blamed for a much larger problem that extends far beyond any creator. Ultimately, only Nosy knows what lessons she's taken from everything that happened. If there's one takeaway from this story, it's that having a platform comes with influence, and influence comes with responsibility. The way creators choose to cover vulnerable people can have real consequences, not only for those at the center of the story, but also for the audiences watching.
This is a live that Nosy Bystander did yesterday with a woman named Heartbreaker that literally has done funerals for people's children on this app, doxes people, does the most horrendous things to people. I'm giving y'all this video because Nosy just did a video on Nas talking about how deplorable he was as a person, yet she keeps this girl, Heartbreaker, in her panel. Mind you, during this live, they are talking to a young woman who's in a mental health facility.
Listen, Rzzy is on paid minutes, so I wanted to be able to talk.
She ain't even paid.
On free minutes before 6 p.m.
Right now, I'm focused primarily on my mental health and, you know, my trauma and all that stuff. And but TikTok has definitely been a huge deterrent in my treatment and progress.
Because her mind's gotten all effed up on TikTok. This girl has thrown thousands and thousands of dollars to one content creator in particular who does hair. And she paid for a $2,500 trip for him, not the first time, to come somewhere and do her hair. And Nosy is berating the girl because the girl is saying she basically feels like she got taken for bad. And instead of paying for one big suite at a resort for the both of them, she should have paid for a Marriott and gotten them 2 different rooms.
I have an issue with addiction. Like being addicted to things, you know, like shopping.
Like OCD?
No. So I have internet addiction and I have shopping addictions. Yeah, for sure.
What do you shop for?
And of course, giving to others that don't deserve it.
I don't want to say that because again, just to be clear, Rzzy, I know you like to like adding your little sly digs, but the people that you've given money to, or specifically about this trip, I'm not going to account for where your money goes to other people, but specifically for this trip, this was a paid service that you structured. You structured that resort. You structured the cost of that rental. You structured it. So you can't say that people didn't deserve it because it sounds backhanded. Like Bray could say the same thing about your braids. Like, well, I just gave her braids undeservingly. And you're like, no, I paid for that service.
Nosy is literally watching Heartbreaker tell this girl, send me $150. Nosy says it. Oh, you shaking her down?
You send that motherfucking $150?
So
it's on D&D.
And she's laughing at the fact that this girl that we all know has mental health issues. We all know this. Every time this girl tries to stand up for herself from the mental health facility that she's speaking her to, she tells her not too much on that person. Oh, well, you're acting like he didn't deserve to stay at the suite. How much are those damn braids in our hair? $250 the most? And she done paid $2,500 for a trip?
He never dipped him in the hot water. I had to do it myself.
Did you complain about that when he was there?
I did ask, can we have?
No, you didn't, because on that clip you was on the goddamn shoreline talking about, look at him, guys, look at him go.
Acting like you worrying about Maggie, and 2 days later you doing this to a girl from a mental health facility, allowing her to be shaken down, allowing her to be bullied, and laughing at her the whole time. I didn't hear any encouraging words to her other than, yeah, you may need to go ahead and get off of TikTok for your mental health. How about you don't speak to her from TikTok for her mental health?
Whether Nosy Bystander decides to acknowledge the criticism more directly or change the way she approaches future coverage remains to be seen. But one thing's clear, this controversy's become a defining chapter of her career, and for many viewers it continues to shape how they see her today. What do you think? Should commentary creators be held to a higher ethical standard when covering people in crisis, or is the audience expecting too much from creators reporting on public events? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.